In this week's Parshas Vayeitzei, as Yaakov makes his way to Haran to find Rachel, he chances upon the well, where he sees the group of shepherds just lazing around, not watering the sheep. And he approaches them, says, "Achai, my brothers, me'ayin where are you from?" And he starts schmoozing with them, plays a little Jewish geography. Do you know Lavan ben Nachar? And they get to a little conversation until Rachel comes along, and they say, "Here is Rachel, his daughter, coming with the sheep." At that point, he gives them some musar. He says, "Listen, the day is short. You have so much work to do. Let's get to work." And the question is very obvious. How come these shepherds who don't know Yaakov from a hole in the wall don't get all upset at him and start fighting with him? If we would walk around any construction site in New York City and start telling the workers who are just lazing around, "Hey, get to work," we would be lucky to escape with our lives. The Panavizharav says a moiridik yesod, an amazing concept. He says you have to look at how Yaakov Avinu addressed these shepherds in the first place. He says, "Achai, my brothers." He treats them on the same level as him. He treats them with respect. And he inquires about them. He asks about their welfare, where you're from, what do you do, what's going on. He gets into conversation with them. He connects with them. He understands where they're coming from. And only after he does that, does he start giving them musar. It was very interesting. A few weeks ago, I was davening mincha in shul, and the Baal Tefillah for the Amid was a aval. He was a chiyuv to daven, so he was davening. And after he finished Mon Esrei, everyone's like, no, you could start. You have 10 men ready to begin Chazar Shabbat. He says, "No, I could count myself. We're not ready." He starts counting, 1, 2. I was like, "Oh, seriously? Like we just told you that we just counted. Why does he have to go again and do it?" And there was one man who was extra annoyed, a little excessive. And he was like, "Oh, seriously, look at this guy." And he starts talking to other people like, "Oh my God." And I wanted to say something to him, only because I knew this situation that this aval happened to be in. They had asked us to come to a Shiva house to daven with a minyan. He didn't have enough people for a minyan at a 7:30 shachars. So, I came to the minyan, I saw what a nebuch, decrepit house the guy lived in. He had no family. His father was just nifter. He had diabetes. He was overweight. Nebuch, this guy had so many tsaras in his life. I wanted to tell the guy, leave him alone. This is the only control that he feels he has in his life, that he could decide when Chazar Shabbat is. Let him have it. The guy's nebuch going through so much in his life. But I didn't say anything, obviously. And a couple of weeks later, actually, I met this same guy in shul, and he cut the entire line after Shachar Shabbos morning by saying Good Shabbos to the Rav. And I happened to be the one that was saying Good Shabbos as he cut in front of me to say Good Shabbos. He said, "Oh, I just had to say Good Shabbos to the Rav because it was an amazing drasha." And I'm like, "Okay." He went ahead and that was it. A few minutes later, at the Kiddush, I was schmoozing with him. I went over to him, "What's your name? Where you from? Like, what's your deal?" And he was telling me, first of all, he said, "I'm sorry, I apologize, didn't mean to go ahead of you," whatever. I'm like, "Don't worry, it's fine." But he started telling me a little bit about himself, that he was married for 40 years. He moved to the neighborhood and his wife was nifteres, passed away. And then he got remarried and now he's going through a divorce and he's going through a lot. And then it hit me. Everyone is going through something. Whether it's a 30, 40-year-old man that just lost his father's davening for the Amid, or whether it's this elder gentleman that was married for 40 years and now going through a divorce nebuch. And whether someone acts out of annoyance, frustration, irritation, anger, if someone cuts you off on the highway, just understand he's having a bad day, or he's rushing to get to work, or he's late, or his boss is going to fire him. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a reason and an impulse of why they do things. Now, it's not an excuse, obviously, but just for us to understand from our perspective that someone else from their perspective is obviously going through something, that we could give someone else the benefit of the doubt. Achai, my brothers, we are all together in this. We should all treat each other with respect and understand where the other person is coming from. Get to know the other person a little bit and realize that everyone has a story and not everything is the way it seems. Have a beautiful Shabbos.